Hey folks, Juan Restrepo, President of the Florida Real Estate Investor Association, bringing you this week's edition of The Fan, the FLREIA Action News, and let's see what the headlines are for the week. Refinancing on the table with lenders and state attorneys general. JPMorgan Chase says talks are bogged down. Local banks under the gun. Foreclosure ruling has lender and attorneys nervous. REO sales may peak in 2013, and the Miami Dolphins. And those are the headlines for this week, so let's take a look at them. Here, dsnews.com is reporting that refinancing on the table with lenders and state attorneys generals. It appears that the parties are indeed considering a proposal to incorporate refinancing for underwater homeowners into an agreement to settle allegations of robo-signing and improper foreclosure practices. Now, who will be considered for the refis is still being determined. They're looking at borrowers who are current on their mortgage payments but unable to take out a new loan due to the equity constraints of a typical refinance would fit the bill. So those guys seem to be the only ones. Now, the main caveat on this one is that the borrower's loan must be owned directly by one of the 5 banks involved in the settlement talks, which is Bank of America, Chase, Citigroup, Allies, GMAC, and Wells Fargo. Okay? Now, and they have not been packaged into a mortgage-backed security and resold. So this would limit the impact that some 80% of mortgages are securitized and owned by investors. So only 20% of you, 20% of these loans that have a current loan. So it looks like not a whole lot of people are going to get helped by this, but anyway, that's what they're trying to work out. Again, principal write-downs are a sticking point for the settlement talks, with even some attorneys generals openly expressing their reservations about the moral hazard such a move might carry. So these principal mortgage write-downs, a hang-up. And the big hang-up still is the litigation liability. Banks don't want to take that on. And now remember last week we reported that we were supposed to be close to settling this thing, towards the end of last week or the beginning of this week. Well, take a look at this next headline. JPMorgan Chase says talks are bogged down. Yeah, despite much of the media saying that a deal is around the corner between the state attorneys general and the 5 major servicers, those directly involved are coming out and saying otherwise. All right. In his third quarter conference call, JPMorgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon described the settlement talks as getting bogged down because of the many varying demands of each of the 50 state attorneys generals. The Florida State Attorney General Pam Bondi doubts the settlement is closed. She heard that she saw the news too that a settlement is coming right around the corner. She says there's no way, we're not even close. Dimon, again, JPMorgan's CEO, told his company's investors, "We would love to have some kind of settlement. We think it's actually good for everybody to get it done and move on." But he was quick to add, "if it's reasonable." So, folks, I don't think this is going to happen anytime soon. It seems like they're still trying to work out the bugs. All right, from the Palm Beach Post here, local banks under the gun. Can you believe this? Half the local banks in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast are under severe U.S. scrutiny. That's right. They've been told by the feds that they are to raise capital or tighten lending practices. Okay, which is, again, why some of these guys are in trouble. 9 of the 18 local banks, headquartered from Boca to Fort Pierce, have signed agreements with the feds, meaning that, hey, we're going to work this out. Now, regulators just recently closed Lydian and First Peoples this summer, bringing the region's bank failures to 6 in the past 3 years. Okay, so the banks are under enforcement actions. The banks under enforcement actions are financially weak. Okay, Seacoast National Bank of Stewart engaged in unsafe and unsound banking practices, according to a December 2008 action by the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. But after losing $31 million in 2010, Seacoast reported a profit of $2.3 million in the first half of this year. Now, Bauer Financial has raised Seacoast's safety rating from problematic to adequate. And then the Seacoast Chief Executive, Dennis Hudson, says the bank has addressed the issues raised in the enforcement action. Okay? And one of the troubled banks that has found the solution to its capital shortfall, Grand Bank and Trust of West Palm Beach, facing an FDIC order to boost capital, has a deal to be bought by First Bank and Trust of Indiantown. All right, so it's good to have some neighbors with some money. Now, what's that mean to us? As investors, again, there's opportunities. Check out opportunities to talk to some of these local banks. Maybe they have properties that they just need to let go to get capital back in. They need cash. So if they can liquefy some of these properties, you're in an opportunity to make a deal and help them out. So check it out. 9 out of 18 local banks are under pressure, so they might be willing to work out some deals. A lot of these guys deal mainly in commercial, but a few of them have some residential things in their pockets, so they might be willing to let go for those of you playing in both of those arenas. Good opportunity. All right, also from the Post here, foreclosure ruling has lender and attorneys nervous. Yeah, this is something that just came up. An appeals court ruling in favor of Wellington homeowners in foreclosure is causing calamitous confusion, according to bank attorneys who say it would snarl hundreds of thousands of pending foreclosure cases. Now, these are the types of things that we've been looking at and just waiting to see if it's going to happen. There's been a few other cases that have been close to this point and then all of a sudden get settled. And so we're wondering if this is another one. And so right now the bank is not challenging the court's decision in Gary and Anita Glarum versus LaSalle Bank, but it said the ruling has been misinterpreted to mean that the person relying on computerized records must be the one who actually entered them into the computer or the direct custodian of the records. All right, so that's what's at hand here. Again, according to Florida law, we have to have anybody signing an assignment has to have actual knowledge of the note. So this is where it's gotten under the radar for a while here, but it looks like this case could really push some buttons here. Considering how often loans change hands during the real estate boom and subsequent collapse, finding these people who personally input the mortgage data could be impossible. Attorney Tom Ice, whose Royal Palm Beach firm Ice Legal is representing the Glarums, said the bank is trying to make it appear that the ruling will bar them from ever winning another foreclosure judgment. He said it'll just make them work harder for one. Instead of submitting a single robo-signed affidavit, they'll need the appropriate employees to swear to the veracity of documents, how they are received, put into the computer, and processed. See? Now, ICE says the banks are just trying to shortcut the system. They don't want to have to look for somebody. But the Glarum decision signals you will have to bring witnesses that have personal knowledge. It's not a change in law. It's how everyday cases are decided all the time. Just like any other case that's heard, you have to have the witness, the actual witness. You just can't have some computer show up. So the case has bank representatives on alert. The national law firm of Greenberg Torrig warned its lawyers it could dramatically change the foreclosure landscape in Florida. This decision could have broad sweeping application in the lending and loan servicing industries and affect thousands of foreclosure cases, among other types of cases currently pending in Florida courts. This is a statement on their website. And again, not just in Florida, but around the nation, because that's one thing. Once something happens in one state, other states start picking this stuff up. So, this is ugly. This could get ugly for the banks, depending on how this goes. Now, the current property, it can't be foreclosed now until the bank gets another summary judgment or goes to trial, which I'm sure it probably doesn't want to go. But once it goes into trial, then you got evidence, and then more things can pop up. So they're trying probably, I believe they're trying to avoid that. All right, from HousingWire.com, REO sales may peak in 2013. But wait till I tell you the rest of the story here. It appears that analysts believe that the sale of REOs may not peak until 2013. So let's look at the numbers. In 2013, the REO sales could reach 1.48 million properties, according to the Bank of America Merrill Lynch analysts. And they don't expect as big a downward pressure on home prices as was seen in 2008. Now, the GSEs, again, these are the government entities such as Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they project they will liquidate 595,000 properties in 2013. So, total REO liquidation is not expected to drop under 1 million until 2015. Man, that's a lot of inventory. The FHFA and the Obama administration are currently trying to work out ways to keep more people in their homes. But as we've seen in some other government programs, they're just not working. So Obama, even just recently on his Jobs Act, had promised a new HARP program. It's been 6 weeks, and they still haven't come out with anything. So this has got congressmen up in arms, and they're saying, we need something. You guys need something. You promised us something. We need to do something. So they're trying to break down the barriers for this refinance program. Under the last program they just had, very few people were able to qualify and refinance. So There's congressmen out there just screaming, hey, we need more help from the administration. All right, but other analysts are not so keen on these numbers as the 2012 elections are nearing and the thought of the government allowing 500,000 properties to hit the market, causing another market crash, is unthinkable. Now, RealtyTrack shows that the sale of REOs could hit 825,000 by the end of this year. They also believe REOs to pick up in 2012 as lenders get through the processing and paperwork issues, pushing inventories into the millions. Now, we just talked about this case here in Wellington. So if that changes, a whole bunch of things could change. So who knows? There's so many things up in the air right now, and since nothing has been finalized, and there's still attorneys going after this, trying to make a case and try to win something, we'll see these properties taking a while here. So it looks like we're going to be in this longer than we thought. Now, the Bank of America Merrill Lynch analysts are looking for urgent policy support to see us through it. They're saying major refinancing schemes or new strategies for liquidating REO on a local level would need to be completed soon to rescue housing prices from the still increasing pressure of mounting foreclosures. So, God knows what's going on between the banks and the government. So, I'm sure there's a lot of negotiation in the backgrounds that we don't know about. So, these banks are trying to save face and see what's going to happen, Heck, Bank of America just lost its top spot to JPMorgan Chase as the top bank in the country. So things aren't looking all that rosy for these guys. So anyway, speaking of not looking rosy, the Miami Dolphins, man, another sad loss against the Jets. I normally don't stay up late on Monday nights, but I said, let me see if these guys can pull it off. I'd be elated to report on this. And no, we couldn't do it, didn't pull it off. What's the problem? I believe it's leadership. I think it's Sperano. He's not leading it. This guy is depressed. He's just not getting the guys up for the games. You've got a great group of guys here that, aren't playing their potential. Dropping balls, missing tackles, basic fundamental stuff. And they can't go out and win a game. So, honestly, I think Sperano, I know Ross is going to let you stay, but, man, you got to pick it up, man. You got to get that fire into the belly. Get these guys motivated. You go out there and win some games. It's not the end of the season. We still got a lot of games left, and we can still make it into the championship. So get them up. Get up, man. All right. What's happening at the FLREIA? All right. Real Estate Opportunities webinar every Tuesday at 12:45 with Sharon. Be sure to catch that. Again, I got properties flying off the shelves there. Great deals. And then God's Property on Thursday the 20th at 7:30 in the morning, so be sure to join me there. The business meeting, our success panel, on the evening of the 20th, that Thursday night at the Phillips Point Club. And then elite members, we have our conference call on the 1st. That's Tuesday, November 1st. So we'll be doing our call early that morning. And then our elite power trip, we're going ziplining on the 11th and 12th of November, but the deadline is coming up on October 21st, so be sure to register with Yvonne or online. And then our November meeting is moved up a week. We will be meeting on the 10th of November, so mark your calendars. That will be up a week. And then that's it, man. That's the news. That is the news for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on our social media, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.com, all /FloridaREIA. And we look forward to seeing you at any one of our upcoming events. This is Juan Restrepo signing off. Thanks. God bless. God is within me. I carry it wherever I go. Got me some joy, joy.